So look at Anthony Ryder from South Lyon, Michigan, recently selected as the Lions 2020 Fan of the Year. He has a passion about sports broadcasting.
With the 112th selection in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver, USC. One pride, baby! Yeah! The Detroit Lions strike a second time today, as just moments after announcing they have signed edge rusher Marcus Davenport to a one-year contract, the Lions have made a trade, and they've made a trade in the secondary, sending a 2024 third-round pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in exchange for starting cornerback Carlton Davis, the Buccaneers' 2024 sixth-round pick, as well as a 2025 sixth-round pick. Now, at first glance, this made me think that this was a slight overpay by the Detroit Lions, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad trade by the Detroit Lions. As we likely know, L'Jarius Sneed was going to cost a second-round pick, including a $20 million extension, and I think that the Lions just weren't quite ready to dish out that kind of capital and that kind of draft pick for a free agent or a traded cornerback. But a third round pick in a year where you already have two for a cornerback and two later round picks in this year and next year's draft, I think makes a lot more sense for the Detroit Lions. And then Carlton Davis is a fine pickup for the Lions that will improve the secondary, with the cornerback room now looking like Carlton Davis as cornerback one, likely Cam Sutton as cornerback two, as well as Emmanuel Mosley as cornerback three, which is a pretty solid trio, in my opinion. Is there a standout all-pro cornerback one in that room? No, but I think there's a lot of good cornerback one to cornerback two type of guys. I think there's going to be a lot of competition and a lot of depth this year. I think already the cornerback room is looking better than last year, and I'm pretty impressed with how Brad Holmes has handled it. Getting two picks in return is also not awful value. I know there's sixth-round selections, but Brad Holmes has done some good things with sixth-round picks, including Malcolm Rodriguez and James Houston over the last couple of years. There have been guys that Brad Holmes has found on day three that have improved and made the roster and impacted the roster, right? Malcolm Rodriguez just a couple of weeks ago had an interception in the NFC Championship game. So sixth-round picks are pretty good for Brad Holmes over the last couple of years. Carlton Davis is going into his seventh year of NFL play. He is, I believe, let me just check, 27 years old, just turned 27 a month or two ago, former second-round pick of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last year for the Buccaneers, he allowed 51 completions on 83 targets, a 61.4 completion percentage he allowed, did allow 732 yards and 4 touchdowns, which is not ideal, but he did come away with 2 interceptions. He was going against wide receiver ones all year. Again, I don't think this is a phenomenal move. I don't think this is an elite cornerback one, but I do think there's a lot of good things to talk about Carlton Davis. I do think he's a physical cornerback from everything I've been seeing. He is a good cornerback to have, and Bucs fans say that it's a pretty good move for the Detroit Lions. And again, a third-round pick, a little bit pricey for him. Hopefully, it's the Lions' third-round pick, so it's a little closer to that fourth round, right towards the end of the third, and they still have their middle of the third round pick. But overall, I think this move is not a bad move. It's not a slam dunk move by any means, but I do think Carlton Davis will be a starting cornerback for the Detroit Lions next year. He is a player that is relatively healthy, has never played less than 10 games a season, and that was only in 2021. Other than that, it's been 12, 13, 14 games a season. He has 9 career interceptions, 3 career forced fumbles. I think the Lions can get a lot out of him. I think it's a pretty good move overall. Carlton Davis, again, not an elite cornerback, but I think a good cornerback adds a lot of depth to this roster. And yeah, you might say, okay, well, you're trading a third round pick. I don't think you're getting a better cornerback in the third round than Carlton Davis. And with the contract that he has, he's going to be significantly cheaper than L'Jarius Sneed. I think this is a good move for the Detroit Lions. Again, not a great move overall. Free agency still kind of hovering around that B to B plus type of range. Maybe a slight overpay, but a slight overpay for a very much a position of need. And I think the Lions got a pretty quality player as well as 2 picks in return. So with all of that being said, that is all I really got for you guys right now. That is my initial reaction and breaking the trade news. Let me know how you guys feel about the trade down in the comments below. The Lions have a new cornerback in the room. I think it's a good move to improve the room and roster overall. But with all that being said, that's all I got for you guys right now. Grade your pick, grade the pick and the trade down in the comments below. Curious to hear what you guys have to say. But with all that being said, that's all I got for you guys right now. Probably back in a couple of minutes with another signing or trade. But with all of that being said, that's all I got for you guys right now. Thank you all so much for watching. Until later, go Lions.